Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast today. It is Wednesday, March 16, 2022. We are brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, Equal Housing Lender. 2289 is our NMLS number. Now that we got all that compliance out of the way, I want to welcome not only Harvey Freed, host of the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, heard every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 on 97.1. Good morning, Harvey.
Good morning.
Not only Becky Alley here, Vice President, Capital Mortgage Funding, one of the top 1% of all originators in the nation, back to back to back to back to back so many times. She's like having an MVP player like Miguel Cabrera on your team forever. Good morning, Beck.
Hey, everybody. That was a great intro. I was waiting for like Jesus to walk in the room or something like that. Thank you so much. I don't
WWBD. What would Becky do? Anyway,
so nice.
We also have special guests on our podcast today. We have two realtors extraordinaire. First is Colton Weisenstein from Exp Realty in Monroe, Michigan. Hey, Colton, what's up?
Hey there, guys. Good to be here. Very excited.
Yay.
And also, phenomenal. And also we have industry veteran Lisa LaRue, who's been on our show before, who's out there. She's in the streets all day, every day from Exp Realty on Grosse Hill. What's happening, Lisa?
Hey there. Thank you so much for having me. Super excited to be here.
Well, you guys are going to be really good because, you know, as we said, you're on the streets. You're in the trenches along with us every single day. And we've got a few topics to hit today because, as you know, the market right now is fast and furious, and that's not just a movie. That's real life now, fast and furious in the real estate market. But I want to dive into it right away. Obviously, Lisa, rates are rising, and sooner or later, it's going to impact the purchase market. Sooner or later, it has to happen. I don't think it has yet. Have you and Colton been impacted now by what's going on in rates, or is it still mostly the lack of inventory in your market?
Yeah, we haven't really been impacted at all in as far as the rates go. Obviously, people are starting to think, should I buy now or should I wait until the market crashes? And so that's an unrealistic comment, in my opinion. So no, we have just really been dealing with the lack of inventory mostly. And I'm finding that most of the time I'm going to have to actually go out and list those homes for my buyers. That's how I'm going to be able to put them into homes in most cases, because that lack of inventory is there's just not homes out there for them. But the rates haven't really affected. They're still pretty low, in my opinion.
Excellent. Lisa, that's a great point. And Colton, Lisa brings up a great point. People think, well, should we wait till the market crashes? Well, the market is not going to crash, right, Colton? It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. The prices are still appreciating. And then, of course, with the rates kind of doing a little increase as we're seeing, they are still better than we've seen before. But I think now, you know, with the prices kind of still on that incline, still a good idea to do it now. It does still come down to that lack of inventory, like she had said, though. You know, I'm out there in the field the other day, and next thing you know, the house is $40K over asking price, 30 plus offers, and it's just wild. So I don't think anyone's really feeling the pain yet from the interest rates increasing.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Becky, you know, it's so great having Lisa and Colton on the show, because if anybody were to go back and re-listen to the podcast previous weeks every Wednesday morning, or the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, and go to our website and look at it, this just confirms what we've been saying all along. And when you have two experienced agents like Lisa and Colton saying, hey, listen, what are you waiting for? Look, we know rates aren't going down, right, Becky? And we know right now, for the foreseeable future, at least 2022, home prices are only going up.
Yeah, the market's definitely going to continue to appreciate, as well as these interest rates are going to start to fluctuate higher, right? They're not going to go lower, but you're right. We're not Miss Cleo, but this is our job. We've seen the market. We have been in this kind of market. We're in a cycle, right? Part of being a professional is recognizing patterns. And we're in one right now where the market is resetting. These rates are back down to what they were pre-pandemic, right? This is a normal rate, but they're still historically low compared to when I got in the business. I know Lisa can attest to that too. I mean, we were seeing mortgages at 6.25%, right? Even in 2018, the rate was 4.875. We're not there yet. We're still below that. It is still a great time to purchase a home. And to that point that we were bringing up earlier, where, people are saying, should I wait? Should I wait till the market crashes? Right. Those individuals that took a time out last year because they were afraid of the competition, they are now entering into the market again with higher interest rates. Their payments are $100 to $200 more than they were if they were to continue the fight last year. And now these homes are $50,000 more than they even were last year this time exactly. I mean, so it doesn't do you any good to wait and hope for something that is clearly not going to happen in the foreseeable future. Set yourself up for success. And if you're flirting with the idea, it all starts with that conversation today.
Hey, Harvey Freed, piggybacking on what Becky just said, if people are going to wait, and we know that Colton and Lisa think it's a bad idea, and we know Becky thinks it's a bad idea because things are only going up. You know what else is going up, Harvey? Rent. Rents are going up. So here's the situation. If you wait to buy a house, then your rent's going to go up. Wouldn't you, Harvey Freed, rather line your pockets with that money and pay on a mortgage? As long as things are going up, rents aren't going down. What are we talking about here, Harv?
Well, there's a lot of buyers out there. There's no doubt about that. So I don't think people are waiting. I think that most of the families that the younger couples that are getting together, relationships, and as you mentioned, Harry, they take a look at maybe getting together and renting an apartment. They say, I don't want to pay $1,200 to $1,400 for a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment. So yeah, it'll get you a starter home. The competition, again, and Becky, circling back to Becky, the competition's stiff. Really got to be prepared. It's still the one thing that we see when we meet with people, when we meet with real estate agents starting off the last 3 or 4 years, is getting over that hurdle where they want to reach out to their client and say, are you really, really approved? Did you send your documents into that lender? And can I call your lender? Will he be available, or he or she be available to go ahead and answer that call from the listing agent? So that's where the knowledge really lies now. Are you truly approved? What's your game plan? And will your lender be there when the listing agent calls you? Because the multiple offers are there, Harry. And I don't think people are waiting. There's many buyers that definitely for this spring and summer.
No question. And Lisa, moving back to some real life examples of right now, what are your buyers going through and what are you going through in terms of how many properties are you showing now? How many offers do you have to put in? How many bids, overbidding, appraisal, exclusionary clauses, whatever you have to do? Tell everybody out there what you're going through right now in the market.
Absolutely. One of the things that I'm experiencing right now is people who want to move cities, right? Move from one city to the next, and they have a house to sell. And in most cases, what I'm trying to get them is approved so that they can sell before they sell. Which is obviously ideal. In some cases, that's not possible. And those people are really having a struggle trying to get into a house with the contingency, obviously, of selling their home. So we're running into that. Not too many offers have to be put in at this time. I mean, sometimes you're losing them, but I'm being very realistic with my buyers. And we're showing them homes that are maybe been on the market a little bit longer. If they don't have all of those contingencies, such as appraisal guarantees and offering way over the value of what's right there right now. So we're being very creative, obviously, and working with a great lender like Becky obviously is so helpful. We brainstorm and get together and try to come up with some really great ideas that fit each individual client. So that's been helpful for me.
Yeah, cooler heads always prevail in the offering situation. And to hear you say you don't have to go ahead and write in some of those crazy contingencies, that's music to my ears because, it's been really a volatile situation. And Colton, we're going to turn to you right now. And, some of the things that we've seen up here are, and I can tell you, I just had a situation this past Monday where somebody had to bid $80,000 over the listed price. And we all know, and I had to caution both realtors and my buyer that this house is never going to appraise, Colton. What do you tell your buyers in a situation like that?
We try to be realistic with it, but we are looking to win the bid. I mean, so we're trying to get that seller to get in contract with us so that we can negotiate later if we need to. We do talk about appraisal guarantees, of course, but not everyone has the funds to be able to do that. So then kind of comes into play where, someone might waive a private home inspection to show how serious they are, or come up with a higher earnest money deposit. I see him shaking the head. It's never recommended people do it, and that's putting a lot of trust in the previous owner, of course, So, but I try to set them up for that and give a heads up of it too, because I don't want them to be, 400, 500 into a private home inspection, say another 500 to 600 into an appraisal, and then turn around and have to start all over again because people just don't have that extra money to do it twice even.
Yeah, I do know. I believe you. And hi, everybody. This is Harry Gland's Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast, joined by, if you're just tuning in, Lisa LaRue from Exp Realty in Grosse Ile and Colton Weisenstein from Exp Realty in Monroe, along with Becky Alley, top 1% of all originators in the United States, and with Harvey Freed, the host of the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, heard every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 on 97.1 FM Detroit. Harvey's been in the business over 30 years. We've got a lot of years of experience on here, and you can tell just by talking and listening to Lisa and Colton, very level-headed, very experienced, and very advisory and conciliatory, as is Becky Alley. Becky, Colton said the magic words. We've had a lot of people that want to waive that home inspection, and I bang my head every time I hear that. Unless you've got a family relative that's a handyman, a licensed builder, bonded, insured, that's going to go ahead and do that inspection, it's like killing me when I hear that. But Becky, real life situations, when you get into that, how are you advising your clients when they're putting in those, the overbidding and the contingencies and waiving this and doing that? I mean, it's going on out there in reality.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so two things. One, to go back to the waiving the private inspection. Obviously, Colton, Lisa, they're never going to advise their client to waive a home inspection because that could be detrimental to you down the road, right? So you have all this money invested in a house, you put down your down payment, and then all of a sudden you realize that someone flushed a rag down the toilet, and now you have a plumbing issue that could have been advised just by doing a simple sewer scope, right? So these little things that we advise on our clients are what's going to set you, what's different from us versus them. And it's all about setting up your clients for success, those proper expectations from the minute you write the offer, from even with me, having those first conversations. Example, I was at the office last night till 9:30, speaking to two different people. One was a buyer buying a new house, and the other one was someone that's just entering even the idea, starting with the conversation. And part of that was the new buyer was pretty educated. He asked me, some hard questions before we even pulled credit, things like that, because he wanted to know what to expect. He heard that it's crazy out there. He heard that you have to go $50,000 over asking, and you have to do all these things that kind of waive what your moral compass might be telling you, like your gut, right? And I said, no. You can't compete with someone that's going to pay $80,000, right? It's like an elevator opening and someone projectile vomiting. You know what? I'm going to get the next one. Okay. I don't want to get on that ride, and I'm not going to pay $80,000 for a house that I don't see the benefit there. However, if I really want it, then no one is going to compete with me because I'm going to do whatever it takes to get that home. And that's what the buyers have to understand. It's not about, getting frustrated because they lost out on an offer, because maybe that wasn't for them, right? And we're one conversation, we're one decision away from changing our lives every day. And if that house they got beat on, well, guess what? That wasn't for them, because what's yours will be yours, I think, ultimately in the future. And part of that is aligning yourself with a professional team. The other conversation I had was they actually were pre-approved by another lender, and they referred to me as a second conversation. And it was a local lender, which is fine. But the conversation, and I didn't know that at the time, but the conversation I had was very real, transparent. It was detailed. I gave them options. And at the end of the conversation, they kind of said, hey, Becky, I actually have never heard something explained to me in that kind of fashion, nor the detail that you broke everything down. So I'm going to go with you. And even though and he said, I don't even care what your rate is, I'm going to move forward with you. Even though my rate is ultimately better and we're in a better situation, that's irrelevant, right? But it's all about those details, those proper expectations, and setting up those clients for success, whether it's your first time or your 88th time buying a house.
Yeah, that's awesome. Educating the client is one of our mainstays and our priorities, and nobody's better at it than you are, Becky, and Mr. Harvey Freed. And Harvey, coming up, we've got some pretty important dates coming up, Harvey, that we have to look out for. First of all, Friday, first spring trading game in Lakeland, Florida with the Detroit Tigers. Then April 8th, Comerica Park is opening day against the White Sox. But also more importantly, Harvey, today and tomorrow, the Federal Reserve is going to come out and they're probably going to raise interest rates, Harvey. So I'm going to ask you for a prediction, and I'm going to ask you what that means. What's your prediction for how much the Federal Reserve is going to raise the Fed funds rates, and what does that translate to the mortgage market, Harvey Freed?
10-year yield was up this morning here. We are hoping it's already built into today's interest changes in case the Fed funds does go up 0.25%. Anywhere, Harry, my prediction is 0 to 0.25, of course. Very easy to predict that. But, that's not as important as the fundamentals of home ownership, because the rates are what they are no matter where you're buying. And it doesn't matter if you get a mortgage from Joe or Sally or the rate's going to be really close. The professional conversation Becky talked about is the most interesting and thing that I'm concerned about. I met with plenty of agents yesterday. I did a little breakfast meeting with some agents yesterday. And again, it's the knowledge out there. They were sponges. They were taking in all the knowledge, and they're going to share that with their buyers. But having that professional team, getting a Colton or a Lisa behind you, it's always the passion. I feel it in the conversation immediately. It's like, is this somebody that's going to care about me? And as Colton said, don't go down that road and spend $1,000. So this team knows the difference between if you got a sewer, if you've got a septic, how to set those up, if it's a Mishta loan, how to set up the different inspections, how to protect your investment. And again, home ownership's a lot of fun if you get some professionals involved.
Yeah, that's what we always say. And Harvey, you bring up a good point. Things are going to go up, Lisa LaRue. Things are going up. You know what's going up? Gas is going up. You know what's going up? Rents, as we talked about, are going up. You know what else is going up? Groceries are going up. You know what else is going up? Vehicle purchases. The prices on new cars are going up. Okay, everything is going up. But if you take a look at interest rates, they are what they were in the mid 1960s. So I'm betting Colton wasn't even alive in the mid 1960s. Okay, but somebody old like me, here's the thing: the American consumer, Lisa, we can't help ourselves. If gas right now were $8 a gallon, we'd be buying big trucks and putting $8 a gallon. It doesn't matter to us because we want what we want. And we also want it now more than ever because we've been pent up for the last 2.5 years. So, Lisa, as Harvey points out, rates are rates. It doesn't really matter. I'm taking a look at things right now that when Harvey, Becky, myself, our entire team at Capital Mortgage Funding, Lisa, when we quote a rate, and it's all about disclosure, rates aren't where they were even this past Monday. So I don't know about you, but we always tell our people, we don't sell houses for a living, and you guys don't do mortgages for a living. And Lisa, when you call Becky, give me an interaction that you've had with Becky that kind of just blew you away, because Becky blows me away with her knowledge every single day and how she handles people every single day.
Well, there was one specifically, and it actually was with one of my business partners that I brought into EXP, and they were told by their lender that they can't get a loan right now. Just make your payments and call us back in about 3 months, and we'll check you again. And luckily, we checked with Becky, and Becky said, yep, That's right. That way is not going to work. But here, let me check a couple of other ways. And guess what? That buyer is out now looking for their new home instead of waiting 3, 4, 6 months down the road when interest rates are even higher. And this particular family really needed to move now. So yes, it is about having a lender that has experience. That was the first thing I said, was that goes to show you Becky's experience and her dedication to her clients. And it is huge right now. It is huge. You have to have a wonderful team around you that works together seamlessly to get the client where they're going. We have another client that is very tight on his ratios. And he's at the point where can he buy or can't he buy, because we're not really finding a whole lot of houses in his price range. But at the same time, Becky and I are passionate about home ownership for everyone. We want to put this great young guy moving out of his parents' house. We want to put him into a great house now while the interest rates are low and while he can purchase something and start to build his own equity. So, and rather than him go and rent someplace, like you said, the rents are going through the roof. I heard a rate yesterday. Normally they're at a 14% increase. Right now they're at a 22% increase. Crazy. So it's double, and people are paying it. They're stuck paying it if they can't.
That's a great way to put it. People are stuck, but you know what? As Americans, it's not going to stop, because we're consumers, and everybody. We're joined by Lisa LaRue from Exp Real Estate down in Grosse Ile. We love it down there. And Colton Weisenstein from Exp Realty in Monroe. And Colton, getting back to you on this, the relationships, we are in the relationship business, whether you're a title company person, whether you're a realtor, a mortgage professional, whether you're a doctor, lawyer, or you're an Indian chief, you have to be good with people and you have to talk straight talk. And one of the things that we do on the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business radio show and our podcast, we give it to you straight. If we don't know something, we'll find it out for you. We're not faking it to make it. We don't do that. We've never done that. And so we've established, Colton, a lot of great relationships during our over 30 some years in this business. When you're out there, and whether you're trying to win a listing for yourself and your company, win a sale for your client, or just trying to pull the transaction together, you're always honing your relationship skills. And it's so important, isn't it?
It's the most important, I feel, honestly. They have to be able to trust you, to know that you're honest, you're genuine, you're keeping it real with them. I learned so much of that from Lisa. She's my mentor in the business. Learned to be grateful with that as well. And then I aligned myself with Becky because I see so many of the same characteristics in how she does business. All three of us here, we go above and beyond, and we don't feel bad about it at all. We give it everything. We're going 150 miles per hour as much as possible. Becky was saying she was in the office last night, until 9:30. Well, she followed up with me after that to make sure I was good with my day and my clients as well too. So she just doesn't give up. She knows some recent things I went through for some clients as well, just taking it to the next level. And I'll do that for anyone, whether it's a friend that's a client, family member. I'll treat them all like family, really. And there's a lot of times where I get some praise from my clients while we're in the process of looking for that home, that they just love how genuine and realistic I am and how much detail I give to them. And that's Becky as well. So that's why I've aligned myself there. And if ever I don't have the answer, I know that Lisa LaRue does. So, and it just comes down to figuring things out as you go. I mean, we're not faking it as you make it, you say, but you also don't have the answer to everything. We've got tons of resources that we can call on. These two ladies would be my first resources here. But, if they're busy, and I know they are busy, then I will ring the next one. I'll hit up another broker and contact them to, someone within my EXP office that I know has a little bit more experience, maybe dealt with that before, and we'll get it figured out and we'll keep moving.
Well, team, I got to tell you something. Being in one of our mantras here that we always go in, it's a people first business, and staying hungry, humble, and smart. And you can see behind us, okay, good loans always close, and keep it simple, be smart. Okay. It's kind of easy that way. If you break it down, be grateful, be humble, be hungry, but also be smart. And nobody fights for their clients, in my opinion. And I'm spoiled because I work with Harvey and I work with Becky every day. And we're fighters. And Harvey Freed, nobody advocates for your clients, whether it's good or bad, like you do. Okay. You're a fighter. You grew up a fighter. But the bottom line is you still, the willingness to go the extra mile for your client. See, everybody says they will do that. But if you're working Saturdays and Sundays like we all are, like you're up till 9:30 to 11:30 calling clients back like we are on this podcast. You know, some people talk the talk, Harvey Freed, but you walk the walk, don't you, buddy?
Well, you can call me on my cell phone anytime. I'm not always going to give you the, as Colton said, the right answer, but I definitely will give you an answer. Knowledge is everything. And again, I think the passion and the fun part about buying and selling real estate is having that team. We talk about it all the time. We're going to see it in 2022. There's just, taking it that extra step. The experience, I think, does come into play. But you need that team. So I'm going to ask Colton if he wants, he can put my cell phone number in his phone also. We're always up to a quick question. And that's what really the clients want out there is they need the right answers. Boy, Harry, usually like as Lisa started off the show, someone's usually moving now from their starter home into that next house. And that's already scary. And then they might not have sold their house. So we're doing these reverse contingencies on the sale of their house. They've got 30 to 60 days to find a new house. I'm nervous myself. They got to go find a house. And with the limited inventory, that's really where 2022 spring and summer is going to shape up. And just having that knowledge and those people, if they can move forward and get a deal worked out, it's what it's all about really this year.
Yeah, we got only a few more minutes, and I want to wrap it up. I'll start with Lisa, go to Colton, Becky, Harry, back to you, and then I'll wrap it up. But this has been an unbelievable podcast, and Lisa is going to join us on our show, the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate and Business Show, heard every Saturday from 9 to 10. We'll also be joined with Corey Welsh, owner of the Monroe branch. So Corey's going to be on with Lisa, Becky, Harvey, and probably myself. No, I don't think I'm going to be on this time because I'm going to leave it all to you guys. But bottom line is, go ahead, Lisa, wrap this segment up, and then we'll have you on the show on Saturday morning as well.
Sounds great. Thanks so much for having me. And I'm just a little advice out there. Make sure you are talking to a professional real estate agent who is guiding you to the right resources. That is number one. Number one, professional real estate agent who can guide you through the process and help you build your team for your purchase and your sale if needed.
Excellent. Colton.
I'm so glad to have been here, man. I appreciate you guys for inviting me on the podcast and whatnot. And my advice would be similar to that. Find someone that you can tell cares about what they're doing and cares about their people. If it feels ice cold, I can tell you that it is. So it's the difference with me. I pour all of my heart into each one of my clients, and they know that pretty quickly. So if you can't tell that pretty fast, then I would say you might need to start talking with some others.
Yep. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, Colton probably is a duck, right, Becky?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Let's go ahead and wrap it up, Becky and Harvey, and then I'll sign off and give Roberto the go ahead. Go ahead, Beck.
Yeah. So what I want to talk about is pre-approvals real quick, right? It's important that you get a real pre-approval, right? If someone is busting out a pre-approval for you in 5 minutes, there's a problem with that, right? Because you get this pre-approval, they're giving it to their agent, and now the agent is going to be, taking you around houses. And now you're maybe a month, 60 days into buying a house, and then you have an accepted offer only to find out that there was an issue that could have been identified immediately had someone taken the time to look at it. So when you're getting pre-approved, it's important that you send your financials, it's all reviewed and it's in line. So therefore you're not having a situation like Lisa was talking about where someone was pre-approved out there looking for houses. And then all of a sudden the lender realized, oh, wait a minute, you're getting a little bit closer to writing an offer. And then they found out something they could have identified immediately had they taken 5 more minutes, right? So everyone's busy. I'm trying to get that word out of my vocabulary and switch busy with productive, right? Because everyone can be busy and who cares? I'm busy, you're busy, who cares, right? But if I'm to the point where I'm no longer being productive for my clients, my referral partners, then that is a problem, because me taking 5 more minutes is going to identify any potential issues to make sure that when I am passing the baton to my referral partners, they know with confidence that I can get that transaction done in possibly 10 business days, less than that, actually. I mean, but it all starts with the team around you, and a good selling team, a good buying team, and a great mortgage company behind you is going to always get you to that finish line. Like you said, good loans always close, even if they're tough.
Excellent. Harvey Free, give me 20 seconds. We'll wrap it up.
I will. Happy St. Patty's Day.
Yay, I love your hat.
Look at my lid. I might see you guys out there tomorrow. I know real estate agents like to celebrate, so maybe I'll celebrate some 2022 with them. Be safe. Get that real approval letter. I met with some agents yesterday. That was really the theme of our show. In our meeting yesterday was really talking about really getting that knowledge behind you, having the confidence to ask those tough questions with your buyers. Again, I recently met someone who said they had a 235 approval letter. They barely qualified at 205. So you got to get that real straight stuff and the straight story.
Yeah, I want to thank all of you for joining us today. March 16th, Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, equal housing lender. And this has been the Hardcore Podcast. I'm Harry Glanz. Thank you to Lisa. Thank you to Colton. Thank you to Becky. And thank you to Mr. Harvey O'Freed. Roberta Beauchene is our producer director. And we'll see you next time, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.